Is what Michael Saylor doing one of the riskiest corporate gambles ever? And is this, if he's right, is this one of the fastest ways for us to 10x our money? Speak to me quickly. I don't have much time. I have high, severe ADHD and a low IQ. So explain it to me simply.
Yeah, Saylor's all in on Bitcoin with his company. They've dumped over 50 billion bucks into it. Huge pile, but right now, Bitcoin's around 67,000, so they're underwater by billions. Stocks tanked too, down hard from peaks. Riskiest ever? Close. It's like betting the farm on one wild card. If Bitcoin crashes forever, company could implode. But if he's right, and it moons like 10 times higher, yeah, fastest way to 10x. If you ride the rocket without dying first. Short version, ballsy as hell. Could make you rich or broke. Your call.
I want to know, what does Michael Saylor know that we don't? Why Saylor might be betting the house? Here are the facts. There's a hard limit. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, unlike the US dollar or euro, which governments can print more of whenever they want. Nobody can print more Bitcoin. Saylor sees it as the only true scarce thing in the world. Digital gold is better than real gold. Saylor argues that Bitcoin is like gold, but improved. You can't easily move $1 billion of gold across the ocean in a second, but you can with Bitcoin. It can't be faked. It doesn't degrade, and it doesn't cost a fortune to store in a vault. Cash is losing value. Saylor believes that because governments keep printing money, the purchasing power of your cash drops every year. He calls Bitcoin a battery that stores your hard work and doesn't let the value leak out over time. The big kids are joining. In the past, only tech nerds bought Bitcoin. Now the world's biggest banks and investment firms like BlackRock and Fidelity are buying it for their clients. Saylor thinks that as more giant companies join in, the price will naturally be pushed higher. He never plans to sell. This is the most important part. Saylor doesn't view Bitcoin as a trade to make a quick buck. He views it as digital property. Just like you wouldn't sell a house in the middle of a great city just because the market had a bad week, he plans to hold his Bitcoin forever. So Michael Saylor is playing a long-term game. He says if you aren't planning to hold it for at least 4 years, you aren't an investor, you're just a gambler. The risk is high. If Bitcoin crashes and it stays down for years, his company could face serious trouble with the money they borrowed. But Saylor's bet is simple. Everything else is losing value, and Bitcoin is the only thing that can't be diluted. So Michael Saylor was just on CNBC, and he was saying even if Bitcoin drops to $8,000, we'll just refinance the debt.
Andrew, if Bitcoin falls 90% for the next 4 years, we'll refinance the debt.
Refinance where, Michael?
We'll just roll it forward. I mean, again.
But you think banks would lend to you at that point?
Yeah, because the volatility of Bitcoin is such that there's always going to be value. Look, you're at 68,000 right now. Literally has to fall to 8,000. Then we just refinance the debt. If you think it's going to zero, then we'll deal with that. But I don't think it's going to zero, and I don't think it's going to 8,000 either.
So Michael Saylor said in February, sell a kidney if you must, but keep the Bitcoin. Somebody left a comment, you guys still have kidneys? And then he said in November, by the time your financial advisor says it's okay to buy Bitcoin, it'll cost $1 million. And when they say it's a good idea, it'll be $10 million a coin. And if you ever wanted to know what conviction really means, listen to what Michael Saylor says here in regards to his Bitcoin price prediction.
If people in the rest of the world knew what I know and they understood and they agreed with me, Bitcoin would go to $10 million tomorrow. And if Bitcoin went to $10 million tomorrow, I want you to think about how you would feel and how your viewers would feel, because you would lose 20 years of stacking opportunity during which you get to buy at less than $10 million. So the difference between $10 million and 100,000, that's what you give up if the volatility goes away and people start to agree with you. So I'll end with just one thought, which is, in my life, I've made a bunch of very successful investments. I bought Facebook, I bought Apple, I bought Google, I bought Amazon, I bought Bitcoin. And there's a simple formula if you want to make 10x your money or even 100x your money. And this is the formula. Find something in the world everybody needs, nobody can stop, and few people understand. And if you find that, if it's like obvious, Amazon, Google, Facebook, iPhones, Bitcoin, digital capital, digital money, digital photos, digital relationships, digital video, if it's obvious and nobody can stop it, but you go and you talk to a bunch of people with more money than you, and they're older than you, and they're more successful than you, and they all say, I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, at that point, the cowardly response, the loser response is, well, a lot of people told me to give up on it because they don't get it, so I won't get it. And the right response is, I'm going to study it and decide if they're wrong, and I'm going to make a decision for myself. And if I got it, if I bought Amazon when Wall Street hated it, if I bought Facebook and Google and Apple when Wall Street hated it, if I bought Bitcoin when Wall Street hated it, then I'm getting rich.
I love him as a salesman. After I watched this interview again today from 4 weeks ago with Michael Saylor, sure, it might do well, but man, the Bitcoin treasury debate gets heated when this host here asks him the question, what do you think? He says something along the lines of, what do you think about these companies that, let's say a public company that's not doing well, they have some extra money, they're refinancing their debt and they're buying Bitcoin. What do you think about these companies? And man, that triggers him. He even says it. He's like, I'm insulted. I'm insulted by this question because you're making us compete with one another when in reality, anyone who buys Bitcoin, we're team Bitcoin, and everyone wins whenever you buy Bitcoin, regardless of your company's financial situation, or even as an individual who might not have the most money in the world, but they do what they can in terms of accumulation with buying Bitcoin. But I was not if I was in that room, if I was the host, I'd be saying, Michael, you're scaring me. I just did a video on what's Bitcoin hiding. I'm talking about the three major concerns with Bitcoin in terms of quantum computing. Yes, I know that if quantum breaks Bitcoin, it breaks banking encryption, it breaks military communications. The world has bigger problems than just broken Bitcoin, let's say, with the quantum risks. But the regulation tightening, there's some risks there. So watch for this $30,000 range. I know a lot of people are saying there's a floor here at 60,000. It can't go lower than 60,000. Well, right here, anchored VWAP right here, this $30,000 range is good. But according to ChatGPT, Michael Saylor is so convinced it's going higher because of one, hard scarcity, 21 million cap plus growing demand. Price has to adjust upward. He repeatedly leans on the idea that Bitcoin is digitally scarce in a way most assets aren't, with a supply cap that can't be diluted. He views Bitcoin as digital property, perfected capital that protects against money debasement. His core framing is that holding cash or weak currencies is a slow leak, and he's right about that. And Bitcoin is a long duration asset designed to preserve and compound value over time, what he often calls digital property / capital. Number three, institutional plus regulatory adoption, banks, corporations, maybe governments, is the accelerant. A lot of his conviction is basically this is going mainstream, and when it does, the wall of capital is enormous. So the price reprices before late adopters feel safe. That theme shows up in his public commentary and coverage of his adoption regulation thesis. Type in what is Bitcoin hiding, dead inside, and it's very boring but extremely detail oriented in terms of me breaking down the top three major concerns. But thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.